Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening. My name's Christina Kasika, and I work for ACI. And I'm here this morning with Nicole Vigna and Laura Bordera to offer you the first session of Asian Classics Institute's new series, Harmony for Health. So welcome, everyone. So, in a world where suffering is absolutely everywhere, we're all looking for ways to help heal the world, ourselves, our loved ones. And in our tradition, harmony is an amazing way to do this. So, today, Sarahni and Anjali are here to give us some cool new ways of looking at harmony so that we can improve life for ourselves, our loved ones, and everyone. And Sarahni Stumpf is a senior certified ACI teacher with students all around the world. And we are very privileged to have her with us today. And Nicole Vigna is a co-founder of Blue Sky Friends, which is an educational international nonprofit that works with issues of grief and prayers for ongoing loss. So, two amazing experts with us today. Sarahni and Anjali, take it away.
Thank you, Christina, for that beautiful introduction. And thank you all for coming and joining us today. I really wanted to start by thanking people. I think this is a very important thing to do when we're going to be teaching rejoicing today, is to thank people and rejoice about all the people behind this. So, of course, Tim Lowenhout, the Five Houses, and ACI director who got behind this vision that I had, and the importance of this this topic of harmony and how it affects health, and gave it a place to live and breathe on this platform. The Harmony of Health production team for all their hard work. Laura Bodera, Christina Kasika, Anastasia Manzarova, Alona, Pachi, Darina Pomazan, Anna Didenko, and I'm sure there are many others behind the scenes that I don't know about. I also wish to thank Worldview Productions for your support today and all you do for all the Worldview Productions. It's amazing what you do. And our kind volunteers and interpreters. Thank you. Thanks so much. And thank you all for coming today from wherever you are in the world. So this program is born out of a feeling, it was born out of a feeling of urgency. Over the last years in particular, I have felt some deep concerns arise around the health and well-being of those around me. Family members, friends, community members, dear teachers of varying ages, navigating significant health challenges, some of whom I have witnessed pass too soon. I think one of the deepest human desires in this life is to feel healthy and strong and to live a long, healthy life. No one wants to be sick, lack energy, or have their life cut short. Everyone wants to feel vital and have capacity to live their fullest, longest possible life. And as a long-time practicing health professional, over the last 30 years, I've been deeply curious about what the underlying causes of health are. I learned a lot about the body and how it works, what it needs, and so it was natural and easy in my professions as a personal trainer, a yoga teacher, and massage therapy to buy into the conventional belief that if we go to the gym, we will get healthier. If we eat the right foods, we will get leaner. If we do yoga or get a massage, we will become calmer. If we avoid certain bad habits, like smoking, we will live longer. But when we look around our world, we see people who have been longtime vegetarians diagnosed with cancer at a young age. Or people who live on fast food and smoke 2 packs of cigarettes miraculously live until they're 95. So we can begin to have some doubts, healthy doubts, about the cause of health and long life. So then we have to ask a very serious and logical question. What is the actual cause of health and long life? We've learned from studying about seeds that consciously protecting life is a cause to see our own lives protected. But what about experiencing a healthy life? What about a long life? For this, there is a surprising correlation that many do not immediately think of or correlate with health or long life. And that is living in harmony with others. So over the years, I have heard Geshe Michael share about this correlation between harmony and health. During the recent Door to the Diamond Way teachings in Kyoto, he again shared the best way we can keep each other healthy is to get along and have fun doing cool things together. Basically, cultivate harmony together. So if this is the case, then wouldn't it be worth it to experiment with this idea as a living practice? Yeah. If we can figure out what the seeds are that we've planted that could be contributing to seeing good health and long lifespans, and also figure out what seeds have contributed to seeing poor health and shorter lifespans, then we would essentially have the key to unlock the door to improving health and long life overall. So now you might be asking, how can I do that? What can I do to produce results for seeing a healthier world and longer lives of those I love and all those around me? Our Harmony for Health practice and discussion series is designed to help you answer and work with that question. So now I'd like to welcome lovely Sarahni to share a bit more about this and perhaps go over some ways that we can take our practice in that direction. Lama Sarahni, thank you.
Thank you so much, Anjali, and the other ladies for inviting me to participate. Mm. Ordinarily, as Anjali said, we associate the causes for disease as being ways that we've harmed other life and contributed to shortening of life. And that's usually our focus in working with our own health or the health of our loved ones, is how can we better protect life? And within that framework is this deeper level of not just promoting life, but promoting the quality of life that's not even particularly threatened. And that's where this idea of harmony as a contributor to good health, right, falls in a deeper level of our practice. And it does make sense once we hear it that disharmony should relate to dis-ease. And dis-ease becomes disease when it's there long enough. So if we want to see less disease in our world, we need to make less dis-ease, which means less disharmony, both within ourselves and amongst those we interact with daily, and train ourselves to consider our impact on others, not just in terms of how can I get what I want with kindness, but now with this added level of how can I contribute to my world in this harmonious way that allows other beings that I'm interacting with feel at ease as they experience me. And so again, for us to be able to cultivate that state of heart, if we have the seeds for it, we hear it once and, oh, I can do that. And we go out and do it. If you're like me, I hear it, that's a good idea, and then forget it. And then hear it again. Oh, yeah, I remember. And slowly it builds up. Now, add to that our training in seed planting and seed ripening. And we can recognize that if I want to use this harmony building practice, I would want to start by very carefully assessing what kind of seeds I likely have. Now, karmic seeds, mental seeds are deeply, deeply hidden reality. We can't know exactly. However, we can make educated guesses. And one way to do that is to do a life review where you just think back through lifetimes, your lifetime, this lifetime. And in this situation, we would be looking for, on one level, where is it that throughout my life, I already have contributed to harmonious experiences for others. We can probably find some if we're looking specifically. Whoa, I played on a volleyball team. I was captain of that volleyball team, right? I helped us all get along. I can remember those. Even make a list. Then we could also say, where were there times when somebody else seemed in some kind of distress and I was able to be the calming factor for them? And maybe, I did one when I was 6 years old and then not another until I was 25. Doesn't matter. Dig in to those memories and see what you can find about ways in which you were able to serve as this calming factor within someone else's condition of upset. So you're looking for these two positives. Then, with honesty, we also would want to look for ways in which in the past we might have been aware of a situation of conflict, but for whatever reason, avoided stepping in to try to help. I have lots of those. And then the fourth one is, where is it that I actually was in the midst of the conflict and contributing to it for whatever reason? I was so sure I was right. I was so sure they had wronged me, whatever the reason. Honestly, recognize, oh, I didn't know any better back then. Now I know I have those seeds. I have them more clear in my mind, my positive ones about where I have, and my negative ones where I planted seeds for conflict in my world. Then we understand that those negative seeds, we have a practice where we can damage them, even negate them. And that practice of the four powers will be a future event on this platform. And then there's also the practice of watering those good seeds that we've now identified that we ourselves have. And so the watering the seeds practice, we understand. Geshe Michael calls it coffee meditation. It means rejoicing, recalling the goodnesses that we know we've done, that we've seen others do, and recognizing, oh my gosh, those are seeds in my mind that I would really love to see be ripening into my world. And to do that, I just think about how I planted those seeds and be happy with myself for having done it. And so this is the practice that we'll focus on in this session, is the how and why of rejoicing practice. Anjali.
So to continue, thank you, Sarahni, for outlining that. Some of you may have studied what's called karma marga, or a path of karma. The 4 steps, you might have heard of that. We're also going to cover that in a future installment. But in a path of karma, the 4th part is rejoicing, also known as tartuk. A really fun word to learn, Tartuk.
Mhm.
And this is, as Sarahni said, the essential water for your seeds to grow fast. I also like to think of it as sunlight too, because you're warming up the seed with your awareness, your consciousness, by thinking about it. We're not doing 4 steps practice today, as I said, but just to review. Typically, we want something. We want to find someone who wants that thing, so that's number one. Then we plan how we're going to help them. Then we do it. And then we go and put our head on the pillow and rejoice about it. Now, Geshe Michael has often said in many teachings I have been to that one of the biggest problems he has seen humans struggle with in their lives is seeing the good in themselves. People have a really hard time celebrating and feeling happy about the good things they are doing. I'm guilty of that. We often focus more on what we do wrong, what didn't happen, what didn't go right. And we tend not to give much attention to the good things we have already done. Geshe Michael has also taught us that rejoicing is super powerful as a tool to use when we go to sleep, because it puts good seeds in our minds that percolate all night. And it helps set up our mind for the next day in a positive way. He also said it was great for insomnia. But more importantly, rejoicing can be used as a powerful tool for pushing our good seeds to the front of the line faster. Like, for instance, an airplane sitting in position 3, moving to position 1 to take off. We want those good seeds to go off faster. And what is so cool is what Sarahni said, is that we already have so many seeds in the ground. Seeds that we've planted in our hearts already. We just have to warm them up. So, Sarahni is one of my personal mentors. We've known each other for years. And since 3-year retreat, we've become a lot closer. Now I have more access to her. She's not in retreat right now. And since then, she's been constantly encouraging me and others to practice rejoicing. And to the degree that I've been to some of her classes, smaller groups where we rejoice before we start the class. And I don't think she knows this, but I stole that idea from her. And now I do that with a small group of lovely people that I share Dharma with weekly. And we just love it. Thank you for that. Sarahni's really inspired me deeply with this ongoing resolve and commitment to put rejoicing at the forefront of her practice. And so I asked her, how'd that come about? I'd like to know more about that. And that's one of the reasons I asked her to present this particular topic, because she can teach anything. But I think this is her superpower. And I'd like to hand it over to her to share how this became the core of her practice. So take it away.
Thank you, Anjali. Anjali knows this is a long story. And she said, yeah, well, just shorten it. So I'll do my best. We always hear at the end of a teaching, a sutra teaching, that, and the whole world rejoiced and felt happy in what the Buddha just said. But that never sank in about, well, I should do that too. But then I recognized, at an end of a program or a concert, we all clap, right? We show our appreciation for what just happened. So we do have rejoicing at the end of a program deeply ingrained in us. We just didn't know why. We thought we were being polite and doing what culture does. Anyway, in Great Retreat, Geshe Michael would come in and give a weekend teaching, and he was teaching us the 4x4, right? His not new material, but his new presentation. So he gave us 4x4, and he emphasized that this completion stage of the 4 parts of a path of action, that the way you really complete something is to recognize you did it, you finished it, you're glad you did it, you do it again. And so his emphasis was in the glad we did it piece. So, I took that in, finished retreat, and towards the end of retreat, our last break before our last month in, my husband Sumati got very sick, like very sick, and he had to go out, and he walked out of the cabin. And from my experience, I didn't know what happened after that. And I was in this like free fall space of not knowing that was actually, I mean, hugely disturbing, but so close to a wisdom of true reality. But anyway, I also then received information from Rob Rusinger, who was the one who ended up taking him to the hospital. And he had been given the advice by Geshe Michael to rejoice when his wife was seriously ill. And in doing so, he received an apparent miracle in her shift during surgery. And it was like, oh, I need to be rejoicing. Because the information I got was David, his name was David then, he should be dead and he's not, which means he could be at any moment, right? And I'll come back and let you know, because we still don't know exactly what he's got, but at least he's still alive. So I set about to rejoicing in the ways that I had protected life seeds, and I had lots of those. But then it occurred to me, those are my seeds. I need his seeds for protecting life to ripen, to save his life. My seeds for his seeds for protecting life. So I started thinking of all the ways that I know he has protected life, helped people, and I just started reciting those in my head. And my mind would go, yeah, but he did that, right? The negative things would pop up. Shut up. We're doing the positive right now. So it took hours, again and again and again and again. And then new things would come. And then Rob comes back. We know what he's got. He's being treated. He has to go to Tucson. Probably he won't be able to come back to retreat because he had blood clots and so would need to be on blood thinners and, complicated. So then it was like, wow, this rejoicing practice. Hey, Lama, these practices really work. That used to be our mantra at Diamond Mountain. And then it was like, oh, now I need his seeds for getting back into retreat. And I knew that about him as well. He has been the support person for people's Leirung retreats. He got all the cabins permitted. He put in the water system, right? He did his own Leirongs. He. And after a couple of days of that, I get the message. His hematologist, who happened to be the doctor one of the PAs in our group worked for, one of David's closest friends in retreat, worked for this hematologist that David ends up going to. How does that work? And she goes, oh, you want to go back to retreat? We'll use this medicine. You don't need blood tests. You don't need special diet. Just don't use dangerous tools and don't go up a ladder. So 3 days of rejoicing got him back into retreat as well after having been gone for 2 weeks. So I was convinced at that point, I had this realization that rejoicing practice has an effect on my reality. Not instantly, but oh my gosh, within a few days, when I was rejoicing constantly for hours. Now, I don't do that very often anymore, if at all. But it showed me the power. And then since then, when I get into a situation where there's some issue going on, a distress, up goes my hand. Wait. Let's look at ways we have already contributed to a resolution like this. Let's look at ways that whoever is the object of the distress has already helped others in the way that they are now in need. And let's focus on their good seeds. Pour water on their seeds? No, I'm pouring water on my seeds for them to have those good seeds, to see my seeds ripen, them having their seeds ripen. Do you see why it's so subtle? It's all my seeds, but so it behooves us to know other people, to know how they help, to pay attention to how people help others, so that when we come across someone in need, we can pull out our good seeds for their good seeds and help that contribute to a well-being, an improved well-being. How'd I do? Right on time, Anjali. Good job, me.
Thank you so much. What an inspiring story. I love hearing it over and over again. Thank you. It's just so cool to remind us that we already have a huge toolkit available to us,
We
which
do.
is essentially the bank of other people,
Right.
the preciousness of other people, and how we can plant a seed in the first place.
Mhm.
So to really care about other people's lives is actually pretty awesome just as a thing, but it's strategic for it's a good strategy for happiness, you
Right.
know? I love it. Um, So, yes, go ahead.
Although not a reason to interfere, right? With this idea of, I am concerned about others' lives. It doesn't mean I'm going to walk into your life and take over. That's not the seeds I want.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Okay, thank you. Just to be clear.
So, yeah. So, yeah, just to take interest in others' lives, no matter who they are, where they are, is a really beautiful practice uh, in general, to acknowledge other people. Um, so, to that lane, we're going to start to explore different ways we've already planted seeds for pacifying conflict or promoting harmony. And I like to think of this as a way to reverse engineer the four steps. Because what do I mean? Basically, we're going back in time to find our seeds. Maybe we didn't consciously think about harmony connecting to health back then. But we did a lot of harmonious things that are super cool with regards to harmony. And so, why not utilize it now? Rejoice about those things now. In other words, rejoicing about how each of us has dissolved conflict or promoted harmony in the past, and have that lead back and correlate to what you want to see, which is health and long life for yourself and everyone around you. Example, I'm going to rejoice about how I took my friend out to a coffee shop and helped them resolve a conflict with their partner. I rejoice about finding the person, planning how I'm going to help the person, how I followed through, and by the power of doing that, may this be the cause for the long life and health of my mother, or my son, or my teacher, or my friend. So now, here's some examples and ways we can reflect on this so that we can use that for our guided practice of rejoicing. You can think of a time when you have helped someone else move toward dissolving conflict between others. So yourself going out helping people who are having conflict. You can think of a time when you yourself have restrained and pacified yourself from engaging in conflict with another person. You can think of a time you know of where someone else has helped another dissolve a conflict between themselves and someone else. As Sarahni shared so brilliantly in her story, this was the key to her rejoicing practice to bring David home. And you can also think of a time where someone else, a friend or family member, you watch them restrain themselves in a heated situation. So 4 ways to think about this, and I'm going to give some examples. So you can really start thinking about your thing, just one thing that you want to land on to practice with today. But I'd like to give you some examples. Promoting harmony. This is one of the kind of categories you can focus on, right? To think about ways you might have brought people together to connect and foster good relationships between people and groups. So really fostering connection and positivity in a group setting or a family setting or a work setting. Geshe Michael said in Kyoto, get together and work on projects and have fun. Like, that builds harmony. Respect, fun, joyful atmospheres for working together. And then also, you can think of times where you have supported family and work environments by exhibiting yourself, positive attitude, kind words, taking actions to promote harmony between people. This topic, stopping conflict, is a category. Just a few examples. These are not exhaustive. They're not the only ones, but just to give you an idea. In the past, when I would get upset by an email I got, I would want to write an email back, rah, or a text. Nowadays, that's faster. And it's that desire to want to send that unpleasant response and refraining from it, stopping it before it hurts anyone. And then maybe later you choose to delete it. That's my favorite. I love that one. Stopping yourself in it when you're involved, let's say in a family or work environment argument, by deciding to just let go of needing to be right or prove a point. Stepping away. A time where maybe you decided not to engage charged discussions where you know the views are conflicting. That leads to arguments. And then, of course, supporting people in need who are experiencing conflict with others. I've done this with a couple who was having marital problems to stop them from moving into a violent situation. Lama Sarahni, I know that she receives a lot of requests for help when people are having conflicts with another, like me. and I ask for help, and she's there, and she never says no. She's like, what do you need? How can I help? So that's a really powerful seed that I get to rejoice about Sarahni all the time, and that is a helpful, awesome seed. And then last category is resolving disharmony. Sending an apology letter for a part you played in a conflict with a person. Times when your actions may have caused confusion and led to conflict, and stepping up and taking responsibility. I did this with a Telegram chat once. I gave people the wrong impression of something, wrong information, and that misunderstanding led to a mini conflict between two people that thought they were doing the right thing. So I publicly apologized and took full responsibility. So I can rejoice about that one. Yeah. And then last one is thinking about someone you know who did any of the above mentioned things in those categories. So it doesn't just have to be yourself, it could be someone else. broaden the scope of your idea of rejoicing. This is what Sarahni brought to the table today. And now Sarahni will guide us in a rejoicing contemplation meditation. So there you go. Thank you, Sarahni.
Thank you, Anjali. So you have some ideas to work with? Okay. So let's settle our bodies for a contemplation. Get your body set in a position that's upright and relaxed, propped however you need to be so that you can just forget it. And then bring your focus of attention to your breath at your nostrils, sending the message to your power of focused attention to turn on. Turning on your focus, brightening up your clarity, and turning on some curiosity, some fascination. Keep coming back to just the breath. Now shift your focus of attention from your breath to thinking about a time when you either helped someone else in resolving a conflict or at least trying, or when you yourself restrained yourself from engaging in a conflict with another person. Zoom through various possibilities and decide to settle on one. And recall what it felt like to try to help them in this way, or what it felt like to decide to not contribute to that conflict. Recognize that in doing so, you have shifted your own heart in such a way that it will be even better able to avoid contributing to conflict and to help others become more calm in the face of their own. And be pleased with yourself that you have those mental seeds within you. Now think, was there a time you can recall when you seemed to be the one that was the calming factor in a space where others were upset about something? You had some perspective about the situation in which you could remain calm and confident. Find such an event. It could be a very small one or big. And know that as you were that calming effect on those others, you were impacting them in such a way that they will go on to be a calming effect for others. And we were affecting our own self in such a way that we can again be a calming effect amongst others who are upset. Find a memory. Recognize the goodness held within that memory. And allow yourself to be pleased with yourself. Grow a sense of being able to do it again someday. The willingness to do it again someday. Maybe even the eagerness to do it again someday. Feel a confidence growing within you. That you can bring harmony to your life, to your world, because you understand about seed planting and seed ripening. And in this way, we can be contributing to the well-being of everyone around us. And so think of someone you know who is right now feeling some conflict. and send this goodness that we made to them. Like a beam of light or a breath of fresh air. See them suddenly relaxing, suddenly able to say something kind to another, suddenly relieved. And then bring your attention back to you in your body, in your room. And when you're ready, open your eyes, wiggle your hands and feet. Take a stretch if you have space. Thank you, Anjali.
Thank you, Sarahni. Thank you for that beautiful practice. Oh, can't you see how this could just make a happier world? I feel your own personal world and the world around us. Why not? So now we have this little gem of a practice in our pocket that we can take out and use every day, hopefully. Maybe it'll remind me to start doing it more.
Me
And
too.
I'm appreciative because I needed this seed of this class today. um, and remember all the different things that you can use this practice for, but specifically for the health and well-being of your loved ones and your communities and your teachers and the world. Use it now, not later. And I think this is my urgency message to encourage you to be the scientist of your own life and conduct the experiment, just like Sarahni did in retreat. Really cool. So we're going to do an overall quick dedication of the goodness. So you can keep your eyes open if you like, or you can keep your eyes closed for this one and just maybe eyes closed and just bring your mind to one person that you love who you would like to see have good health and long life, and let them be the representative for all living beings who wish for that too. And see them clearly in your mind. Sense their hopes, their sufferings, their dreams. And now gather all the virtue that you have collected during this time together today in the form of a white diamond light in the center of your heart. And allow that light to shine out in all directions, but particularly into the body and heart of this loved one in front of you. And making a prayer. By the power of the goodness we have just done, may each and every living being experience good health, long lives, for ultimately reaching their own full potential. feel the brilliance and encourage a feeling of joy for what you've just done. As you send the light out. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. Thank you all for coming. We welcome you each time to our platform on Wednesdays, 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. twice a month. Join us for our next offerings on May 13th and May 27th. Christina Kasica and I will be presenting the Heart Sutra as a practice for cultivating harmony on May 13th. And on May 27th, Ellie Vanderpas will be joining me to explore the power of Tonglen for transforming conflict and creating the seed we need for that long life. So that's all we have for today. Sarahni, thank you so much for joining us and
My
sharing
pleasure.
all
Thank
of the
you.
beautiful wisdom and kindness with us. I know your time is
Thank
precious and
you.
we're so grateful for a little bit of it.
Thank
And
you.
thank you to everybody. Yeah,
Thanks, everyone.
yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone, and we'll see you on May 13th. Thank you so much. Bye for now.